today. I hope you guys are all having a great today's Tuesday. Hope you guys have all had a great Tuesday so far, and I hope you guys are also having a great middle of the week. In today's live stream, we're going to be giving you guys a weather update on what you guys can expect in terms of the weather. So we will let you guys know about that on what you guys can expect in terms of the weather. So we will let you guys know about that on what you guys can expect in terms of the weather. Let's see. Can you guys let me know down in the chat if you can hear me? Well, just want to make sure everything was working right before we started this live stream. So if you can hear me, make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. All right. Well, anyway, I want to first get started on what we have going on right now across the United States, and you guys can see that for right now. And for right now, you guys can see that we do have a pretty big wave of showers and storms currently ongoing across parts there of the Pacific Northwest. We even got a few rounds of showers and storms even ongoing across the plains, as you can see. And as we take this forward, we are going to continue to see some of those rain chances persist even as we head into the end of this week. You guys can see that some areas across the Rocky Mountains and even the Four Corners region may continue to get a little bit of rainfall, as we're going to have a low pressure system sitting right over areas like Colorado and Wyoming, as you can see. And then we will also continue to watch for potentially even a little bit of a concern for maybe something developing in the Atlantic. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but we are a little bit concerned about how there might be a tropical system trying to get its act together just right off the coast of the United States. So pretty much right here is the area that I would especially watch closely for. I'm just going to quickly go ahead and draw it out so that way you guys can see. It's this area right here that I would especially keep an eye on closely. And this is mainly given the fact that we are really, once again, watching hurricane season this year very closely. And once again, that is all because of how the tropics have been very active, and we are still concerned about potentially some big hurricanes once again developing, which we're not sure about that yet, especially since this hurricane season has been pretty quiet lately. But like I said, it is something that we must watch very closely, as we could potentially see something develop in the Atlantic Ocean. And like I said, the main area to watch for would be that area right off the East Coast. So make sure you guys are on alert for that, especially as we head towards the middle of September. And then not just our, precipitation, but I also wanted to show you guys our temperatures. I think the temperatures is what's currently the biggest story right now, especially given the fact that we do have a lot of areas that could potentially see some big time temperatures. And you guys can see that when we look at our temperature anomaly, this tells you whether we're above average or below average. The areas that you see in blue are below average. Like you can see for right now, we're a little bit below average still across the east, but that will likely change though as we head into the next few days. You guys can see that as we enter later this week, we really start start to see a big return of above normal temperatures, not just for the next few days, but even as we head into next week. So I really want you guys to make sure you're ready for that, as some areas might be trending as high as 20 degrees above average. That might seem a little bit warm, but it's definitely more above average than what you would usually expect for this time of year. And you guys can see that whenever we're 20 degrees above average, we're also in the 90s. Look at that, maybe even some upper 90s by the time we enter the beginning of next week, especially Sunday, where there is the potential for some of us to see some well above average temperatures, especially across the Midwest and as well as the Deep South, where 90s do appear likely. Now, when we take that forward again, you guys can see that a lot of us will continue to stay in the 20s and even the 30s, not for temperatures, but for how above average you are. So we do expect a lot of us to still be above average even as we head once again into the middle of September, if why not to the end of September, because you guys can see how we're just going to continuously stay above average even as we head into the middle and as well as the end of this month. So we just want you guys to understand that these above normal temperatures are definitely concerning, to say the least, and so make sure you guys are ready for that, as there could potentially be some areas of even record-breaking heat. So it's not just the temperatures themselves, but it's also, how we could potentially even have some record-breaking high temperatures across some areas, especially those areas that potentially trend as much as 20 or even 30 degrees above average. So we just want you guys to keep that in mind. And then as we also take a look at our rainfall totals, this is another thing that I wanted to show you guys. We're just going to quickly go ahead and select our precipitation, and you guys can see that from now all the way to Sunday, so we're looking pretty much throughout the rest of this week, there is a small chance that some of us may get a little bit of rainfall here. You guys can see that when we take this back, some areas barely get any rainfall, so there's a chance, like I said, that some of us may get a little bit, but it's not super likely, especially, once again, given the fact that we are looking to continue to stay on the drier side, or I probably should have stated right there, because at first, when I was looking over $200 out, I was actually looking till not this Sunday, but next Sunday, so I should probably go back. Okay, now I'm looking to Sunday this week, and once again, still, we do have chances for some precipitation, especially as we head into our Sunday, and that's when we could potentially see anywhere from 1 to even as much as 4 inches of rainfall once we head into Sunday next week. So we're pretty much looking out for the next 5 days or so, and then we also got some pretty good chances for some rainfall even as we head into Sunday across areas of the northern plains, I should say, and even parts there of the Rocky Mountains. It looks like areas of the East Coast and even over here across the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley will be on the drier side of things. So the good news is that it doesn't look like we're going to be looking at any impactful weather. But the bad news is that a lot of us really need that rainfall. You guys can see that whenever we look at the Climate Prediction Center, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. You guys can see that Climate Prediction Center is currently forecasting above normal temperatures across areas of the central and eastern United States, especially where you see those reds. That's well above normal temperatures expected, and same goes for well below normal precipitation, both on the 6 and 10-day outlook and as well as the 8 to 14-day outlook. And with below normal precipitation, addition, we also got that risk of a worsening drought. You guys can see that where you see those tan colors, that's a rapid onset drought risk. That means this drought will likely become a threat, especially as we head into September 17th to September 23. So pretty much during that time frame is when we can expect a very high chance of there being a drought, which means we're not really looking at any rainfall over the next several days. And the areas where you see those tan dots, so not necessarily this like tan color, but more so like this. It's where you see those little dots right there is ongoing drought may persist or worsen. So that means there's already a drought ongoing in those areas, but there's a really good chance that it will either stay or it will potentially worsen, and that's exactly why we want you guys, once again, to really be ready for that, because a drought is very rare, especially whenever you're talking about those areas in the Ohio Valley or even the Deep South, because even the Deep South has a chance of potentially seeing a drought once again. So we just really want you guys to be ready for that, as it really looks to be a pretty big hazard overall. So there's that. And the last thing I also wanted to quickly take a look at is going to also be the Storm Prediction Center outlooks. And this is mainly just to show you guys that for today, we do still have a very small slight risk for severe storms across areas of western Kansas and eastern Colorado. It's that very, very small curve that you can see. It's like right where my mouse is. So that's pretty much where we're going to still need to be keeping an eye out for some showers and thunderstorms there. But you guys can see that on day 2 and day 3 is when we got a much higher chance of there being some showers and storms, but it doesn't look like they're going to be any severe weather. We don't have any dark green showing up. We don't have any dark yellow showing up, which means we're really just talking about general run-of-the-mill thunderstorms, which means heavy rain and lightning are possible, but we're not expecting severe weather. And that will be both tomorrow and even after tomorrow, so you don't really need to be too worried about any big weather impacts. But still, a few showers and thunderstorms could still change a little bit, so we still want you guys to be ready just in case. And if you guys got any questions, leave down in the chat. Make sure to do that, as we really do appreciate your guys' support. I don't know if you guys saw my community post earlier, but I was talking about how I've been having some technical difficulties with my computer, and it's not because it's not working. You guys already saw how I had a bunch of weather stuff pulled up on it right after showing you guys, but it's mainly because they're not really made for streaming, okay? So it's not because they don't work, but they're not really made for streaming, and this is what's made it really hard to do a video. So I'm really trying my best, guys, to do a video each day. But like I said, the bigger issue, though, is that my computer, for some reason, does not want to do the live streaming right, and that's what makes it, once again, really hard to do a video. And so that's why I'm probably going to be doing live streaming and even some other things on my phone. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. I'm not trying to say that I won't be doing a video at all, but you know, I'm just gonna have to do it till I get my next upgrade. So I still consider you guys subscribe to the channel, because like I said, your support really means a lot to us. It really means a lot, including doing these new upgrades. These new upgrades can really make a huge difference too. New upgrades are still expected to come, of course, because like I said, we were talking about getting a new computer, so that will come pretty soon, probably within the next couple of weeks, and I'll let you guys know when that happens. And then I also think I might try to upgrade some other stuff. Like I might try to get a new weather station, or maybe I try to enhance some features on my new computer. Just whatever you guys think is best. But like I said, we just really want you guys to understand that I'm trying my best to do videos each day, and sometimes it just doesn't really work a lot of the time. But like I said, your guys' support really does mean a lot to us, and I bet your guys' support will help us get a computer a lot quicker. So we recommend you do that. And if you guys got any questions, make sure to leave them down in the chat, because once again, your guys' support really does mean a lot to us. Let's see here. Hello. Hi there. I'm not really sure how to pronounce your name, but thanks for joining my live stream. Let's see. Is this the Taylor Swift supported channel? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think she supports me, but okay. We really do like the support, though. Like I said, I mean, even though this might not be a big channel, like I said, your guys' support still means a lot to us, especially when you guys subscribe to my channel. That even means more to me. Yes, I have listened to her songs before. Indeed. Well, I think that is most of the comments and questions I'm seeing right there. I think that's most of what we wanted to give out in this live stream. And once again, the overall thing to keep in mind is that a lot of us along the East Coast, and even though Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and Deep South are going to continue to stay very dry over the next week or so, especially areas in the Ohio Valley where there's even a chance that some of us may see a worsening drought. So we just want you guys to keep that in mind, as it's pretty unusual for a lot of us to get that. So make sure you guys, once again, are ready for that. And the other thing that I also wanted to say is we also will be concerned about those temperatures. So it's not just the drought, but it's also those temperatures. Those temperatures could potentially warm up into the 90s across a lot of the areas, and I'll show you guys that one more time after I get it pulled up. Because like I said, whenever we see those turn of temperatures, you guys can see that a lot of us are going to warm right back up into the 90s. Look at that, maybe even some 100s showing up by the time we head into Monday next week, which is just so unusual. Once again, we really don't see that very often, but we really need to prepare for it. Like I said, it's something that can happen, and it's not something we want to let our guard down on, especially since we still got a week or two of summer, so we don't want everyone to get caught off guard about that, of course. Let's see here. What about bettering drought? I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean like a drought getting better? Because I mean, a lot of areas do need the rainfall for sure, and the areas that look to get the rainfall is areas in the Four Corners region, especially, and those areas are really needing the rainfall pretty badly, especially since um, they've been in a drought for probably over a year or something like that, depending on where you live. So it's really not something, like I said, that we usually see very often. But hopefully, areas that are in drought get some rainfall, including areas over there in the west. Let's see here. What about Georgia? So for Georgia, like I said, Georgia is also going to be another one of those areas that of course needs the rain, but we're also going to be seeing those return of 90s. So instead of sitting in the 80s in Georgia, kind of like what we've been in most places, we're looking more at the 90s. So we really need you guys once again to prepare for that. We're not saying to get caught off guard about it, but it's just something that we want you guys to be ready for, especially since a drought can really cause a lot of impacts to agriculture, and that can even impact a lot of other stuff as well. And yeah, I mean, it's a good thing you're not in the area that we're concerned about, but like I said, you're still pretty close to it, to where I would definitely, say that you guys are still going to stay pretty dry as well. So hopefully we'll get some much needed rainfall pretty soon. And thanks for asking that question, by the way. Your support really means a lot to us. Let's see. When will we see a hurricane? It's really hard to figure that out, especially since this hurricane season has been really quiet lately. But it looks like as we enter the end of September, I'll quickly pull this up so that way you guys can see again. But our best chance of possibly seeing a hurricane or two would be as we head into the end of September. And this is mainly given the fact that we got some low pressure systems coming off of Africa right now. And look at this, a lot of them could potentially strengthen and maybe develop into a hurricane. But the question is, where will they go, and are they even going to be impactful at all? Well, it turns out it looks like most of them are going to be curving out to sea. Almost all of the model run shows all those lows curving out to sea instead of heading towards the Gulf of Mexico, where it's usually the most favorable. So that's kind of just how it's gonna be. I mean, like I said, we can't say that it will stay quiet, but it will be, something to watch for, especially if we see like an unexpected change, which could potentially impact the way the tropics act. And so that could potentially cause some unexpected things to happen. But for right now, it does not appear likely, which is good news, especially for areas in the United States. It's pretty unlikely that we'll get hit by a hurricane, but like I said, it is still possible. Let's see here. Thanks for joining, my friend. Good having you here as well. Let's see. Well, and like I said, if you guys got any more questions, leave down. Now's the time to do it. And we definitely gone over most of what we wanted to in this live stream. So if you haven't already, make sure you give the live stream a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing to the channel, as your guys' support really do mean a lot to us. And I also, hope you guys also have a great rest of your evening as well. Let's see, do we have any more questions? Well, I don't think we do, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off the live stream, and once again, make sure to leave a thumbs up if you haven't already, and thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.